I just want to get this out here now. Grayson Allen has been a phenomenal role player. He's been their
100%.
most important player, I would argue, outside of the big three. Doing your due diligence is not the same thing as actively shopping a player.
That's right.
We did get another report that basically said the same thing that we were all saying over the last couple of weeks when it comes to Grayson Allen. Do we want to move him? No. But does it make sense for the Suns to at least hear what's being offered? Does it make sense for the Suns to answer the call? Because what Grayson Allen has done this season is boost up his trade value, is boost up the bag that he's going to get. And that's great for him. But it puts us in a little bit of a tough spot. So Jake Fisher shared today that Phoenix continues to be mentioned as one of the more active teams on the trade market, hoping to find rotational upgrades behind its big three of KD, Book, and Beal. The Suns have explored what the combination of Grayson Allen and Nasir Little could bring back to the Valley, sources say, though the Suns have only 4 second-round picks at their disposal, and Allen has been arguably Phoenix's most important player this season behind Durant and Booker. So, tough spot, y'all.
Yes, I want to get this out here now. Grayson Allen has been a phenomenal role player. He's been their
100%.
most important player, I would argue, outside of the big three. Doing your due diligence is not the same thing as actively shopping a player.
That's right.
They're not going to give up one of the most valuable pieces of their rotation, a guy who started every game he's played in, a guy who's shooting 48% from three on like 6 attempts per game, unless it gets them a certifiable upgrade at a position of need. And no, that's not point guard.
Correct.
I think you have to do your due diligence because you have limited trade assets at your disposal. You have second round picks. You have Nasir Little's contract. You have Grayson Allen. You have Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic's value isn't particularly high. Neither is Little's. A lot of your other guys are all on vet minimum deals, so you'd have to stack a lot of guys to make up the requisite salary for the type of upgrade you're looking for. And 2 of those guys, Damian Lee and Josh Okogie, because of the contracts that they signed, they have veto rights on any trade this year. So you can't include them unless they really want to get out of here and go somewhere else. Knowing those guys, I don't think they do. So you have limited assets at your disposal. Testing the waters, seeing what's out there is not the same thing as we're trying to get rid of this guy. So I'd be surprised if he's going anywhere just reading the tea leaves.
You have to play 4D chess if you're the Suns front office, because you can't just be looking at the next 5 months. With the change in CBA, you got to be looking the next 3 years. And so you kick the tires on anything. And what's frustrated me is you've got people that are like, there's a 0%, there's no way you trade Grayson Allen. And the reality is, maybe it's 25%, but you got to look, you got to listen. I would listen to anybody and everybody not named Devin Booker just to understand what the market I'm playing is. And can I get closer to a championship with any move? Right? Not taking calls is not doing your job in the NBA.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're actively making calls, but take calls or make a call and just go, hey, I'm gauging the market here. What would you give up for X, Y, and Z? Because understanding that is half the battle. These general managers have offices with boards of names of everybody in the league, and how would the salary work if we did this? Like, it's basically Trade Machine Tuesday every day in a GM's office.
It's Trade Machine Tuesday on crack, though.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's insane. And you've got guys, in that front office that know the cap so well that they can go, no, this guy, this guy, this guy. That's the way it works. Trevor Buckstein's that guy with the Suns. And so the idea that, no, they would not consider or at least field a call about a guy is just not understanding the way that the front office game is played.
That's right.
So when you hear this, it's not Grayson Allen's gone. It's we're going to understand what our options are and calculate, might he leave? What will it cost us in terms of his contract and the extra money? All these things you've got to understand and you've got to consider when it comes to what you're doing.
Well, and you could even use Grayson Allen's name to get on the phone with people too, right? To see maybe, can I get a little bit more intel on some things that might be working with another team and this team that I'm talking to? And how can I get in as a third team to get something that is valuable to me, but may not be valuable to the team that they're actually doing the bigger trade with here? Because we're already starting to see trades happen. And that's something that's really valuable, especially for a team like the Suns, where you don't have a lot of money that you're working with here. You have to be super strategic and make those really calculated moves.
Yeah.
And being a third team involved in a trade could very well be the way to do that.
And this is your last year as a team above the second apron to have a couple of not loopholes, but a little bit extra breathing space with trade. Because this is the last year you can combine salaries together in a trade. So why wouldn't you explore what Nasir and Nurk or Nasir and Grayson can get you? This is the last year that you can take on 110% of the salary you're sending out, because next year it's going to go to 100 if you're still above that second tax apron. And you know, if the Suns don't trade Grayson, that's great because he's a phenomenal three-point shooter, secondary creator. And I did clarify this. The Suns do have his full bird rights. So they can re-sign him, go over the cap, and sign him to a significant amount compared to an outside suitor. So
they just have to pay the taxes on that.
They will have to pay the luxury tax. They will obviously stay above the second apron when they do that. But if you want to keep a good player who's still young, who's still in his prime, and who obviously has fit in really well in his first season here, you do that if you can't turn him into something better. And I think you could make the argument he's already secured his place here.
There's no chance they move him for something that is not substantially better. There's no chance.
But Flex, you've been in discussions. You know guys around the league. I mean, somebody in the chat suggested, oh, it's disrespectful if you take a phone call on a guy. What's a GM supposed to do? Another GM calls and you're like, if this is about Grayson, Allen, Nurkic, or KD, I'm hanging up right now. No,
that's not how it works. No, that's not how it works. So you see, what people don't understand is these GMs are in contact daily. They literally will call on Monday and say, what do you got? Nothing changed? Okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Like, this is how it works, right? And the Suns right now, I'm going to emphatically say this. Their best asset on this basketball team is Grayson Allen. And it's not even close.